again, people. Man, I've been wanting to do an update on Epstein, but I really haven't had much more. Now that the FBI has arrested a couple of these guys, it's getting interesting. The Daily Mail is the only one, and it's kind of sad. They're not even in the U.S., and they give more details and more information than our lying liberal press. When I tried to search this article, because I looked at it a few days ago and I wanted to pull it up and do this video, when I searched it on Google, it never came up. Daily Mail did not come up. I had to go to DuckDuckGo, I think is what it is, and then I searched it, and Daily Mail was up at the top, where it should be. But because our left-wing media they can't control the Daily Mail, they don't want to promote it. But anyway, so it looks like 2 federal prison guards were charged Tuesday for failure to check on Epstein. They were tasked with guarding Epstein. They were allegedly 15 feet from his cell and spent substantial time of their shift browsing for furniture and sports online. The officers did not check on the inmates for 8 hours. Only found Epstein when it was served the prisoner breakfast at 6:30 a.m. When a supervisor arrived, they allegedly told him, "We messed up. We didn't do our rounds." Wow. What kind of government employees don't do their job? I'm shocked. I mean, we do backgrounds. Doesn't the government tell us they're the ones that should have guns and we shouldn't because they only hire the best and they do backgrounds and the government will always protect? The government can't even protect you when they lock you up with signs, no guns, no weapons, no force. They lock you in a cell and provide your food and your security, and they can't even protect you. And yet they want citizens to give up their guns. But I digress. All right, here we go. So they went through here. Both people pled not guilty. I haven't been able to see these people. Nobody's showing pictures. Oh, at the Daily Mail, though, they had drawings. Wow. So here's the 2 fantastic government employees, prison guards, that were shopping and sleeping and online while Epstein killed himself. At first, when I first heard this, I was like, it's conspiracy. The guards can't be that incompetent. The more I'm seeing and reading, I might believe that it is just the guards being incompetent. So, the Daily Mail, I thought, did a good job. He told reporters, took issue with the judge's order that the officers had to surrender their firearms, arguing his clients had no history of violence. The crime she accused them of was non-violent. So government's protecting government. They don't think they should have to give up their guns, even though they're being charged with lying and falsifying documents, whatever. They appeared in court, revealed that the FBI was looking into potential charges. Noel and Thomas indictment claimed they sat at their desks, drawled online. Noel and Thomas allegedly appeared to be asleep at their desks for 2 hours. So they're working overtime. I think it says someone here. Used a computer. Thomas searched online for motorcycle. The pair were 15 away. They found him dead at 6:30. I thought they said they were working overtime. So they worked their regular shift. So now they're making time and a half to sleep and to do online shopping and to not do their checks. This is the quality of government hiring. This is why every time government fails and they want to blame the person, I'm like, it's not a training issue. It's not a person issue. It's a hiring and incompetent issue. We have to hire people not for standards, and the federal government and the state government can't have standards because then you're called bad names for not hiring the right kind of people. Until people get that, nothing's going to change. Epstein didn't kill himself. Let's see, 2000, he was working overtime shift. The 2 guards are required to conduct 4 counts. They were supposed to check them at 4, 10, 12, 3, and 5. And they checked them when they gave them breakfast. Gee, that's a shocker. Government employees not doing their jobs. I'm shocked. How can this be? Rick, you know the government's stuff. I know. I just can't. A lot of government correctional officers, about a dozen, showed up to support him. Okay. Wonder, oh, look at all the supporters. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Pending charges, Epstein death, took his own life. Let's see. This is a great article if you want to take time to read it. I think I read most of it, but when I'm going through it and scrolling, I probably miss a lot. I thought somewhere they went into the neck. Here it comes. 2 officers placed on administrative leave by the Department of FBI. So here's the neck bone that was broken, and his autopsy report found that his neck had a broken in several places, including the, oh shit, I'm going to screw this word up and have everybody. We'll just go the H bone, located near the Adam's apple. The city medical exam ruled Epstein's death a suicide, but, remember they always kiss you before they screw you? They ruled it a suicide. That's a kiss. But it didn't stop the conspiracy theories from swirling. Well, wait a minute. He rolled it for a conspiracy. Well, there was another doctor here. Let's see. Where was it? I think it was right here. Crap, I can't. It won't let me get right. Here we go. Epstein's author found his neck bone had been broken in several places, including the H bone located near the Adam's apple. I thought somewhere there was a doctor that said this bone is not consistently broke with suicides. Let's see. Epstein, suicide watch on 23rd. Medical examiner ruled. Conspiracy theories. Epstein's brother hired a lawyer to represent the case about doubts. His autopsy report found his neck had been broken in several places, including the H-bone and Adam's apple. Forensics experts said breakages to that specific bone could occur when people hang themselves, but were more commonly seen in victims who had been strangled. Wonder how those pesky conspiracy theorists get their start. Maybe that's it. A source said Abel appeared to be in good spirits on the day before the suicide. His mother and brother said he didn't do it. This is a woman that's going to be next on the hit list. Evidently, she gave a lot of information about... I didn't watch the videos. Let me see if they're worth watching. Let me pause it. Okay, so in the video, she kind of describes on how Epstein supposedly raped her when she was 15. Now, remember, when you rape somebody at 15, that's statutory rape. And it's statutory because they say a 15-year-old can't consent. She doesn't say how she got out to the ranch, why she posed for naked pictures before. She doesn't say all these acts that she did voluntarily at 15, even though she can't consent. I'm not justifying a rape. Don't come here and say I'm justifying raping 15-year-olds. I'm just saying she voluntarily went out there and did all this, and then it doesn't say what she said when she said how much money she wanted. So, you know, and why did she wait so long? I don't know how old she is, but all right, here we go. Listen, you can listen to it.
Jeffrey Epstein started his targeted grooming and manipulation of me as a child when I was in New York City for a school trip. I first came into contact with an assistant of Epstein's while on a high school drama club field trip to New York City. I was invited to his home. There, his assistant took a photo of me and then later reached out to me inviting me to Epstein's ranch.
Okay, so it sounds like the assistant took her out there, took photos, and invited her. Didn't say she was dragged, forced, or had to go. I'm not defending her rape. Give me a break.
I only knew Jeffrey Epstein for 5 days, during a trip to Zorro Ranch, his massive compound surrounded by government land in the New Mexico desert. Epstein took my sexual innocence in front of a wall of framed photographs of him shaking hands and smiling with celebrities and political leaders.
Okay, so she says he took her sexual, whatever the word she used. I didn't hear anything about her being forced to get here, held against her will, tied up, or restrained. Again, statutory rape is rape by statutory guidelines or laws. It's not forcible rape like you grab somebody, tie them up, and force intercourse. So it's still rape, but if a 15-year-old consents to sex, it's still rape even though she consented. So I'm not hearing where she was the victim other than she's claiming at 15, I didn't know any better, and that's why I did it. And actually, she doesn't even say that.
I was only 15 years old. After, he wanted to talk with me about what had just been my first sexual experience, and directed me to take time to myself that night to cry. He said,
Okay, was it her first experience, or did he just say it was her first? I mean, if I was an investigator, these are questions that juries have. These are questions that people who are evaluating the reputation or the credibility of a witness. Was it your first sexual experience? Did you have sex before? Why did you volunteer? Did you resist? Did you say no? Why did you go out there volunteer? How did he get your clothes off? How did you get in a position to have sex in front of a wall? Did you walk there? Did he force you there? Did he give you drugs, alcohol? I mean, these are all questions that I have when I hear this. People are going to think my questions are, I'm defending this guy raping a 15-year-old because that's what they want to hear, but that's not where I'm coming from.
that would be beneficial to my growth. After this, we had a long talk about my future goals. I told him that I wanted to go to college to study biochemistry. He said that he wanted to give me money for college. He asked me,
At 15, you already had your major picked out for college? Man. 15, I didn't even have my weekend planned out.
how much money I thought he should give me. At 15 years old, living in northern Michigan with my mother, stepfather, and grandfather, I had no idea how to respond to a billionaire who had just raped me.
Okay, so now she's using the term rape, but I didn't hear anything about force, drugs, her protest, etc. All right, let's see what else this article said. I was wondering how old she was. Does somebody want to guess on how old she is? It says here the 31-year-old woman who claimed she was trafficked and sexually abused by Epstein when she was 15 spoke out publicly for the first time. See her bracelet? It's pretty cool. She's wearing a bracelet. Epstein didn't kill himself. I love her bracelet. Anyway, let's see what else we did here. And you can go review this if you don't want to review it with me. I'm just kind of going through it. You know it's on the Daily Mail. If you search Epstein, family observed the autopsy. Epstein death. Even his death. 31-year-old woman who claims she was trafficked by Epstein spoke out publicly during a conference. The woman only identified as Jane Doe. So she gets to come out and say all this, but she gets to hide her name. Man, I am not a fan of accusers getting to hide their name. Was spotted wearing a bracelet. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. If you are in crisis, please call. Epstein's final days in prison. See how the Daily Mail did a great job? On the 23rd, he held. On the 30th, no longer on suicide watch. Cellmate transferred. I thought they said Epstein leaves his cellmate to his eternal. I thought they said he had a cellmate. He wasn't supposed to because he was on suicide watch, and they didn't give him one. This is where they get into the guys falsifying, I think, their checks, saying they filled out that they did their checks when in fact they didn't do their checks. Things that don't hang themselves. Christmas ornaments, drywall, Epstein. Let's see. Kennedy demanded federal investigation. Of course, they're always going to come up. The excuse will be government, and it will be, as a matter of fact, I think it says in here, government, the main excuse every time government failure gets brought to light, we need more money and we need more people. And sure enough, in this video, or in this article, it comes out somewhere where the government is saying they need more money. Bureau plagued by failures, massive staffing shortages. See, if we only had more competent government employees to sleep and search shopping online when they were supposed to be doing their job, if we only had more of those, this isn't a staffing shortage. This is a quota hiring, substandard, no standard hiring of incompetent people in our government. And then we wonder why government fails and why they're always asking for more people and more money. Let's see. Staffing shortages by the agency. It employs 35,000 annual budget that exceeds $7 billion. You got two people sleeping and shopping and a guy's killing himself and they're working overtime and they got a budget of $7 billion. And what's the answer? We got staffing shortages. If we only had more money and more people, this wouldn't happen. And the idiots will believe it. I didn't read what this video said. Hang on.
Disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Media outlets reported on Saturday that the 66-year-old took his own life on Friday night in his lower Manhattan jail cell.
That's a pretty nice jail cell, pretty nice new building. I would think they'd have pretty nice new cameras that didn't break right at the critical moment. But I guess 2 cameras were also broken at the same time the 2 incompetent quota hires were shopping and sleeping, getting paid overtime.
Last month, Epstein was found unconscious in his cell with injuries to his neck.
Okay, the fact that he was found unconscious in his cell with injuries to his neck, what did he tell his attorney? Did he tell his attorney? I mean, he's dead, so attorney-client privilege is supposed to live on. But his attorney could say, he told me that somebody grabbed him around me. He told me that he met with some people from the government. He told me that the Clintons showed up and asked him if he needed anything. His attorney could say that. Why isn't an attorney saying what happened on the first one? What his client told him on the first one? Rick is attorney-client privilege. Don't give me that shit. Freaking Trump's attorney got up in front of Congress and lied his butt off and said everything that Trump ever told him and even recorded Trump and used it. So don't tell me about this attorney-client privilege crap.
According to media reports citing unidentified sources. Epstein was arrested on July 6th and pleaded not guilty to federal charges of sex trafficking.
Okay, what's not being reported on this is Epstein was charged earlier by another, I want to say, either Maine or Michigan or I can't remember. Somebody maybe put it in the comments. They charged him and he was going to go and he got some sweetheart plea deal and was able to walk. And the reason why he walked is because somebody in higher government got a hold of the prosecutor and said, give him a deal and make this go away. They were going to charge him. They had him going to trial and he got a sweetheart deal, which nobody knows why. And it was closed and went away. And now suddenly when it comes back to light, and you have all these people coming forward, suddenly he kills himself.
Involving dozens of underage girls as young as 14 from at least 2002 to 2005. The charges were announced more than a decade after Epstein pleaded guilty to state prostitution charges in Florida.
Florida! So he pled guilty and got probation or some crap.
He was confined in the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan while he appealed a district judge's refusal to let him live under 24-hour guard in his home on the Upper East Side. He was set to face trial next year.
Okay, so that's pretty much the article. If you want to read it, that's what's going on. This is why people are upset. I mean, this is just... the whole case just stinks to high heaven. And the problem is, anybody with 2 brain cells doesn't trust our government. So no matter what they say, nobody believes it. And I think they have good reason not to believe it. There's the 2 poor prison guards that were making overtime in the $7 billion budget, but they're underfunded. That's why this happened. They didn't have more prison guards to shop. How freaking outrageous. All right, we'll end that there.